Cruise news time, and wow, we got a pile of it. A big milestone for a Royal Caribbean brand, a big day for Port Canaveral, a big day for Disney Cruise Lines, and Carnival's talking. They're talking about a lot of stuff. They're talking about staff shortages, they're talking about vaccines, they're talking about testing, and they're talking about how they're making it easier for families to cruise. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. If you're looking to stay up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, well, I'm your man. I think I'd rather be the dude. The dude abides. Oh, cruise news. Look, I took off yesterday. I went over to Port Canaveral, and I sailed on the Victory Casino cruise ship. It's a ship. Nice 4-deck ship, 4 decks available to passengers, and it was really cool. It had everything that you would want in a casino experience. We do have the Tampa Hard Rock Hotel casino near us, probably closer. It took us about 2.5 hours to get over to Port Canaveral. It would only take an hour to get to the Hard Rock, but the Hard Rock doesn't have the traditional table games that I like to play, and we'd never tried this cruise ship. We tried it one time, but our car broke down. If you know the story, you know the story, but we made it all the way over there to Port Canaveral, and it was really cool to be able to go on a day cruise. As a cruiser, it was fun to leave from Port Canaveral to go out past where the Carnival Mardi Gras makes home there in Port Canaveral, and then the bonus was, well, we got to see the Disney Wish, which is really the first cruise news story. But just to wrap a bow on it, thanks for giving me the day off yesterday. I appreciate that, and thanks for continuing to watch our other videos so that the life goes on. It was nice to do that. It was nice to sail, and if you like gambling and you want a good gambling experience, I would recommend the Victory Casino. We had a good time testing the fates, but part of our trip was to go to Port Canaveral, and while we were there, we saw it. We saw the Disney Wish. When you wish upon a star. It was right there. And today is a big day for the Disney Wish. Today is the first day that the Disney Wish will be going out with paying passengers out of Port Canaveral. They've had a month long of inaugural media, all that kind of stuff, test sailings, and today is the official day. That's exciting for Disney fans. That's exciting for Disney Cruise fans. And then it ties into another story about Port Canaveral and how there is an increased amount of competition going on in Port Canaveral. We see more and more cruise lines home porting cruise ships in Port Canaveral. Just an example, Norwegian Cruise Line, they're doubling up the amount of cruises that are leaving out of Port Canaveral up to 45. And it's really generating some more revenue for the port of Port Canaveral. A couple years ago, their annual revenue was about $16 million a year. They're projecting that their new annual revenue will be $60 million a year. And $60 million a year is a lot. But I was thinking, wow, that you would think that a port would generate hundreds of millions of dollars when you think about cruise companies being billion-dollar companies. And so I get fascinated by business. I get fascinated by business leadership. I would love to see like the P&L for a cruise port. Like I just thought that business was more than a $60 million business, but maybe just the cruise part of that port business is $60 million. But yes, more competition coming to Port Canaveral. Port Canaveral is my favorite cruise port to go out of. I love the fact that Cocoa Beach is there. I love the fact that there's all kinds of restaurants and hotels. I love the fact that it's easy to get to the cruise port. There's a lot of good park and cruise options, but there's also a lot of good parking at the port options. And you can go there. I like the fact that Jetty Park is there. It's a campground, but it's also like a cruise observation spot. You can go there. You can see a rocket launch. You can see cruises leaving. So I'm excited, I think, to see more cruise lines coming to Port Canaveral. I guess there's a tipping point where it's like, okay, now it's too busy and it's not as chill and cool as it used to be. I'll kick that over to you. What's your favorite cruise port to leave out of? I've left out of several. I think I've left out of all of them in Florida. I've left out of Galveston. I've left out of the West Coast. I've left out of China. So Port Canaveral still holds the top spot for me as my favorite cruise embarkation, disembarkation port. What's yours? Leave a comment below. Moving on to cruise news story number 2. And look, I got to update you about Carnival because they updated all of us on a lot of stuff. But let me sneak this one in real quick. Let's talk about Royal Caribbean Group. Let's talk about their brand, Regent Seven Seas. This is a premium cruise brand, and they got a big milestone that they're crowing about. Big milestone. They've laid the keel on their latest cruise ship set to debut in 2023. It is the Regent Seven Seas Grandeur. Grandeur. How about that? The Seven Seas Grandeur will join the Seven Seas Explorer and the Seven Seas Splendor to really make the trifecta, to round out this trio of luxury cruise ships that Seven Seas have been putting in place over the last few years. They're very proud of it. I'm going to read you a quote from the president and the chief executive officer of Regent Seven Seas, Jason Montague, that kind of lays it out. Jason says this: since their respective debuts in 2016 and 2020, Seven Seas Explorer and Seven Seas Splendor have delighted discerning luxury travelers from across the world, earning a reputation as the most luxurious ships ever built. Now their sister, Seven Seas Grandeur, builds upon Regent's rich 3 decades-long history. Inspired by our heritage, this will be a ship that harmonizes elegance, comfort, freedom, and choice, providing an unrivaled experience, and will continue to delight our guests for years to come. That was very eloquently written. Almost seems like that could be in a marketing brochure. I've never been on Regent Seven Seas. I don't know if we're in that place yet in our cruising life where we're ready to step up to a Regent Seven Seas. That's probably like just a one-time to do in a year and really just do it for you guys just to show you what it's like. I think it's really expensive. I've never priced out anything like that, but you know, unrivaled luxury sounds nice. I think I would have to learn how to luxurize more, like maybe take a spa treatment or, I don't know, drink cucumber water. I don't know what luxury means. I'm just a poor boy from honestly, I know there's folks out there watching that have cruised Regent Seven Seas. What's the dealio? Why is Regent Seven Seas thebomb.com? Leave a comment below. Congratulations, Royal Caribbean Group, for getting closer to the debut of another cruise ship coming out in 2023, the Regent Seven Seas Grandeur. All right, let's make our way over to Terminal 3 in Port Canaveral so that we can talk about Carnival. That's where the Mardi Gras is out of. But before we get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising. How about that? Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way, you don't miss out on any of these episodes, and that way, you're part of the notification squad. Shout out to the notification squad. Much love. How do you make that heart thing? Much love to the notification squad. Thank you for getting out there every day when the show comes out and letting the YouTube robots know that you love the show so that they'll show it to strangers. Are you a stranger? Tell us if you're new down in the comments. Welcome to the Loca fam. There's no stranger danger here. I don't have a van or candy. Gosh, did you ever wonder? Let me digress for a second. I grew up as a child in the 70s, and I guess times were different. That's what old people say, right? The times were different. I remember when I went to Myrtle Beach as a child, my parents would allow me to walk for hours unconnected to anybody. I would go down to the pavilion. I would walk the beach. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a pager. I hadn't been microchipped. I would just disappear for 4 or 5 hours at a time, and then I would show back up. And that's just the way life was. When my kids were the same age that I was doing that, if they were gone for 15 minutes and I didn't know where they're at, I was like, where's the kids? So are we in a different time, or do we just know more about bad stuff that's happening? This is my debate. I think bad stuff probably always happened, but now we know more about bad stuff, and that changed our perception of things. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Were you ever left alone for hours as a kid and it didn't seem weird at all when you were a kid, but now in today's context you'd be like, what? I had great parents. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying it was a different time. And I used to roam free. Free as the... How about you? Okay, what are we talking about? Please subscribe, notification bell on. Now let's talk about the updates that came out from Carnival. Carnival, a lot of times they use their mouthpiece. I say that with much love. I love John Heald. I don't think he likes vloggers or other people other than, I don't know what else. I've just seen him take shots sometimes, and I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. I still love you, John Heald. I don't know why you got beef with all of us commentators out here. Maybe not all of us, but some of us. But anyways, John Heald's the mouthpiece, and a lot of times announcements about Carnival Cruise Line come from John Heald. And he gave a big old set of announcements just a couple days ago. I believe it was on Monday. And one of the things that's been plaguing the cruise industry has been staff shortages. And the challenge that the cruise lines have said have rested somewhat in the process for visas. So foreign workers cruisers, they need a visa to interact with U.S. ports, and that has to be approved by whoever approves the visas in the government, and that's been a slow process, and that's caused some challenges for staffing for the cruise industry. Apparently, some of those challenges are becoming less of a challenge, and now we're starting to see cruise lines get back to full staff, and John Heald made the pronouncement that by the end of the month, the Carnival Cruise Line will be back to full staff, and because they're going to be back to full staff, they will be providing services that they had either diminished or completely done away with in the past. One of those services that fell victim to the staffing shortage was the chef's table. Chef's table has been away for a while. Another service that fell victim to the staff shortages was the ability to keep the Italian restaurant, the specialty restaurant Cucina del Capitano, open for dinner. It remained open for lunch, but that's a different menu. So the much-loved dinner menu and dinner experience of Cucina del Capitano has been missing on most of Carnival's cruise ships. That will be returning soon. Another announcement in there from John is that the pizza, which was traditionally 24 hours a day, it had been restricted to cutting off at 3 a.m. Well, 24-hour pizza's coming back, as it should be, baby. I tell you what, there's been at least 2 times on Carnival cruises where I had pizza for breakfast just because you couldn't get pizza late night because the lines are so ridiculous. And so I strategically planned to have my favorite, arugula and prosciutto pizza at 6 a.m. And I wasn't able to do that on the last cruise because the pizza shut down at 3. Is anybody eating pizza at 6 a.m.? Is anybody eating pizza past 3 a.m.? Is this a big change? Do you like to have some pizza in the middle of the night? That's going on too. In that same announcement, John Heald also laid out some information that will be helpful to families. Up until this time, not all areas of Camp Ocean, the kids program for Carnival, has been opened. The youngest kids, like 2 to 4, have not had a Camp Ocean opportunity. So if you were on a cruise ship and you had your 2 to 4-year-old, you're just toting those little, snot makers around with you. And now you can pawn them off to paid workers on a cruise ship so that you can go enjoy your time. And look, no shade on parents trying to get a vacation in. When Jenny and I got together 20 years ago and blended 6 kids together, the youngest one was 1-year-old and the oldest one was 11-year-old. So we've had some opportunities where we tried to get some kids together on a vacation and still have some adult time. So I get it. And then John also talked about what's the latest and greatest when it comes to testing and vaccinations. And basically he said that the cruise lines are beholden to the CDC and to local authorities, and there's no chinks in the armor right now. That's my phrase, chinks in the armor. But it looks like everything is as it is currently, with no indication when testing and vaccination may go away. And so I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but that was the update from Carnival when it comes to all of those things. The most exciting piece of that announcement is when I go on the Carnival Horizon for Halloween, I should be able to go to Cucina one night and get the chicken parm, which is delicious. It is delicious. Look, I got to skedaddle. I got to go see someone about spinning straw into gold. And that's going to take up most of my afternoon. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. Look, you could do us a solid by hitting the like button. And did you ever see the classic video when Jenny and I went to Dollar Tree and figured out who would buy the best items for a cruise for 20 bucks? It's a classic Lido Loca show, and it features the lovely Jenny, and go check that out next. This is Tony for Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.